Okay, Shalom Aleichem, welcome to Yom Iyun and Yom Ha'atzmaut. Thank you very much, Bradley, for the introduction. There we go. Here we are in the land of Israel, Baruch Hashem. And the topic of this year is, the title of this year is, if I'd have to give it a title based on Lev's theme for today's Yom Iyun, Heaven, Earth, I changed the title from Journey to the Heavens into a title, What on Earth? I changed the subject. Apologies if anybody was interested in trip to the heavens. So we'll wait till after 120, then we'll have a trip to heaven, Hashem, and stay there. For now, we're down to earth. And actually, the shiur started almost spontaneously when I was doing the parsha yesterday. Came up with the idea, which I'd like to share with you, Be'ezras Hashem. This shiur is in memory of my good friend from Gibraltar, Mis'od Belilo, who was nifter last year. Okay, so I'd like to share with you a small anecdote, something that happened to me. Nothing too exciting, but something to share with friends. I feel that we're friends here. Thank you very much, Lev. I was driving, I don't remember exactly when. I was driving with my family from my house here in Ramat Aleph, trying to get out of the city into Gush Dan. My mother was trying to do some kibbud av to visit my mother who lives in Givat Shmuel, and all of a sudden I see the one road is blocked. It says, no, you can't drive here, there are policemen. Okay, I try the other way. Another road is blocked, another one is blocked. Almost like a computer game, blocked, until after some good 15 minutes we managed to somehow get out of town through some roundabout way. Why was it blocked? Because apparently, unbeknownst to me, Beit Shemesh had some kind of mini marathon, some kind of run, and because of that mini marathon, there was. You've been there, okay?
No. I mean, I was stranded on the bus.
And that's it. So we eventually made it. Interesting experience to being stuck in traffic and being diverted because of our mini marathon. End of first chapter, end of first episode. In this week's parsha, this is more of a shmooze for Yom Kippur, but this week's parsha is about Yom Kippur. It says that the seir Azazel, we all know there are two seirim, one Azazel, one Hashem, and the seir Azazel, interesting words are used there. Seir Azazel, it says Yo'omad Chai. The seir that's Hashem is taken to Hashem, who goes all the way to Kodesh Kedoshim, and the blood is sprinkled in Kodesh Kedoshim, is Pnimi, very high things, one seir. And the seir Azazel, Yo'omad Chai. What does Yo'omad mean? So Rashi says Yo'omad is the conjugation of Yo'omad means he shall be positioned. Yo'amad, la'amod is to stand. Yo'amad Chai, says Rashi, alidei acherim. Which means he will be omed, he will be standing with the help of others. He will be standing and alive through other people. Imagine yourself a prop or something, whatever, a piece of, somebody that doesn't have its own power and is mu'amad. He's being positioned, he's being deployed there with the force of others. And the question is, what does Rashi mean? I looked around, I saw the Gemara doesn't really talk about that specific point, and I'm trying to understand one Rashi. This is what we're going to deal with in a more hashkafic, machshavik idea. What does Rashi mean when we say that that's here is the Yo'omad Chai? And in order to understand that, we have to follow that very, very interesting esoteric inyan of the two seirim with the lens of Rav Hirsch. Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch has a very, very interesting explanation about the two seirim, the two goats that are positioned in Beis HaMikdash with the Hagrola. There's this lottery, and then one goes to Hashem, one goes to Azazel. Rav Hirsch has a very interesting explanation, which I'd like to expound on. So, what is a seir, first of all? Seir is a goat. Okay. What's a seir in Hebrew? Seir is seir. What do you mean? At the beginning of the parsha, it says seir izim. Seir is a type of goat. Ez. What does ez mean? It means a goat. What does az mean? Az is powerful, strong, and also mechutzaf, also mischievous and a bit rebellious. Brazen. Thank you very much. So when my wife is not here, I have other people to tell me the fancy English words. Okay, very good. The Gemara says in Beit Sadaf Chafei Umud Beis, the Gemara says that there are Shomer Shlakish Gimel Ozin Hen. There are three beings, three entities that are considered to be very brazen, very strong and rebellious. One of them is Yisrael Ba'umois. Yisrael, Bnei Yisrael, we are chutzpahdik people. Yeah, Yisrael have the nature of being Az, Kelev B'chayas, but the animals it's a dog, Tarnigol Ba'oifois, by the fowl, by the chicken is one of the birds. V'yeshomim of Ez Be'be'emadaka. Comes to the smaller animals, Ez is Az. And also, it says there, Eish Das. Why is the Torah like fire? Says Rashi, because Torah is fire. Because it says that the fire of Torah is really Azim Ke'esh. We are suitable to receive the Torah. The Torah is fire, it's godly, it's fiery, and so are we. So we're talking here about an Ez, and actually I checked it up with ChatGPT, was a little bit helpful to me when I prepared the shiur. Is it true that goats are mischievous and rebellious? He said yes. He gave me a whole schmooze. I stopped scrolling mid-thing. Okay, thank you very much. And Enochinami, comparing to other domestic animals, the Ezim are considered to be very Az. Okay, here we are. Fine. So these two seirim, these two rebellious beings, are standing there on Yom Kippur in the holiest place on earth. What does it mean? What does that represent? It represents the fact that each and every one of us, both tzaddikim and rishoim, let's assume that the seir that goes to Hashem represent the tzaddik. The seir that goes to Azazel, to a very, very bad, lowly place, is the one following Zitzror Zerosha. Both tzaddikim and rishoim are rebellious. They both rebel. The question is, who do you rebel against? Do you rebel against the Kodesh Baruch Hu, or do you rebel against your Yetzer Hara? We tend to think of people who are good and frum and do everything right, daven and learn, blah, blah, blah. We think that they're not rebellious, right? They're like tatalach, they're nice, they're good. They're like sheep, they're not the goats. It's not true. A person who's really frum and really internally connected to Hashem is rebelling and rebelling and rebelling and rebelling all the time, like an Ez, like a very mechutzes dike goat against the Yetzer Hara. That's not easy, we all know that. Yeah? So really, those two goats, those two seirim, are looking exactly the same. They're supposed to be completely identical to show us that on Yom Kippur, we have the choice. In the most intimate moment with Hashem, in the most decisive moment of our lives. How many people change their lives on Yom Kippur? Many. You change your life, you change your year, you change your perspective on Yom Kippur. And that is what? Because you have the two seirim, and you can decide, am I going to Hashem, or am I going to Azazel? Let's focus now on both seirim, although today the star of the show is the seir Azazel, because remember, we still have to understand Yom Badchai. But let's first give the credit to the good kid, excuse the pun. Yeah, so the good kid, he goes where? Yeah, he is going to be shechted. He's being shechted. That doesn't sound nice. He dies. Yeah, he dies. He dies, not a very nice death, full of blood. Yeah, they don't even give him a electricity shock. They shecht him with all the blood. Yeah, doesn't seem nice, doesn't seem appetizing, doesn't sound good, doesn't look nice on the camera of the wherever BBC. But Lamaisa, that, what? But at the end of the day, where does he reach? Upon his death, where does he get? Wow, we can be jealous of him. He gets to the place that no other human being gets, right? Except for the Kohen Gadol in Yom Kippur. He gets to the holiest of holy on the holiest day of the year. Wow, that's a deal. That animal, we can just be jealous of that. I don't think any animal anywhere around the world reached that far. So that animal, which in a Gashmiistic outlook is really dead, has reached very, very far. That represents the tzaddik. That represents the person who overcame the Yetzer Hara, and although he seemingly is killing himself in Olam Hazeh, he's not enjoying all the earthly pleasures of Olam Hazeh. But at the end of the day, he has a goal. All the way from there in the corner of Beis Medrash, he goes all the way to Kodesh Kedoshim. And let's get a little bit more profound. The Gemara says at the end of Sukkah, I think in Daf Nun Beis, it says over there that la'osid lavoi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will shech the Yetzer Hara. What do you mean Hashem will shech the Yetzer Hara? You mean Hashem will kill the Yetzer Hara, right? Yetzer Hara will be dead, right? Shech. Oops, let's be medayik. Today we're learning Iyun, Diyukim. What does it mean to shech the Yetzer Hara? Hashem can, kill him, sci-fi, laser beam. Can you imagine, a sci-fi movie about La'osid Lavoi, the Yetzer Hara, however it looks like, the Sitra Achra, some fancy laser beam, the whole explosion. Unfortunately, it's not so paratechnical. What will Hashem do? He'll shecht the Yetzer Hara. Why will he shecht and slaughter the Yetzer Hara? Because everybody knows that there's a big difference between killing and shechting. When you kill an animal, you can at best, sell it to an Arab, shkoyach. When you shecht an animal, you're actually taking something animalistic and low, and you shecht it, and you can eat it. And when you eat it, you can enjoy a Shabbos meal, you can enjoy service of Hashem. So shechting the Yetzer Hara means what? We took the Yetzer Hara, La'osid Lavoi, and Hashem will show us how the Yetzer Hara can be used for good. Those animalistic tendencies that we all have. We all came from malach, half a malach, half an animal. The animalistic side of us has a purpose. It can be shechted, meaning it can be sort of dead, but again alive in a much higher sphere, on a higher platform. Think of another. How do you say to overcome the Yetzer? I need to drink, so maybe I'll let you speak a little bit. Give me a good Hebrew yeshivish word to overcome. Misgaber is a good word. What else? Yeah? How does what? Lichbosh. Very nice. And the winner is very good. All the way from Chile. Very good. Lichbosh. What does Lichbosh mean in Hebrew? In English? Conquer. Very nice. Very nice. See, I'm teaching you modern Hebrew on Yom Ha'atzmaut. Anybody blaze me for being a non-Zionist? So now, Lichbosh. When you kovesh, who are the first people who were conquerors in the world? Well, those who went from Spain to South America, the conquista. No. Before Esav, who was commanded to be kovesh? Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava. Hashem told them, "V'kivshua, you shall conquer the earth." Lichbosh does not mean to kill or to destroy. Hashem didn't tell Adam and Chava to destroy the land. To be kovesh, to conquer, means to use it the best way possible. And again, when the Spaniards came to South America or any other nation that conquered the other one, if they're smart enough, they don't kill the land. On the contrary, they keep it and maintain it by their rules. They won't actually exploit, all the good that there is in that land. When you are koivesh es hayetzer, kvish es hayetzer, you don't kill your tendencies, you don't kill your desires, you use them the right way. You are the boss. You're the one riding on the horse instead of the other way around, the horse kicking you in the face. You are kovesh. And that is exactly the message of Yom Kippur. The good seir, the good one, goes all the way there, is being shechted, is being used for a much, much higher purpose. That's the good side. The other kid, the other seir, he stands alive. Yom Adchai, he is alive. And he is looking at the other seir, if I'm not mistaken, a verse says that, if I remember from yesterday. And the seir, the live one, he's having fun. Look, the other guy is dead. He's in that place over there. And I'm alive. I am alive. I survived. I won the lottery, says the seir Achai. The one that's alive says, poor kid. He died. The frumi. I'm alive. I'm having fun. I'm going to, festivals, and I'm dancing, and I'm doing whatever I want, and I do all my taivas. I'm alive and kicking. I'm doing whatever I want. And what happens to that seir? Yom Adchai, it's right now still alive, and eventually, as we all know, it goes to a place called Azazel. That's a very, very obscure and extremely hard concept to understand. The concept of Azazel, the Gemara deals with it, and a lot of machshavas seirim and whatever. It's not the right place, not the time and place to explain this now. I wish I would understand it first, but I'd just like to share an idea with you that's based on what Rav Hirsch says and other seirim as well. What's Azazel? Where does that seir actually go? The word Azazel is a strange word. It really talks about shadim, all kinds of demons and exterior powers, which again, very, very strange, because In Beis Hamikdash, we do everything inside Beis Hamikdash. Actually, in this week's parsha, we know that you're not allowed to do any avoda outside Beis Hamikdash. It's an Isur Koros. Yes, Chutei Chutz is a big Isur Koros. And here by Azazel, you send the seir, you take him very, very far from Beis Hamikdash, and you throw him down a cliff, as we all know, in a place called Azazel. Azazel consists of two words, which again, there are many, many explanations to those words. Az means, remember, az as strong, chutzpahdik. Rav Hirsch says, Az Azali as a shita. He goes. What's Azal? What's Azal in Aramaic? Azla? To go. He goes. Here comes my other Hebrew word for the day. It's a modern Hebrew word, but apparently it appears also in the Novi. What does it mean Azal? When you say in Hebrew that something Azal or Ozel, what does it mean? Simcha is the winner. That? What did he say? He said what he said before. Finished. Very nice. Azal means we ran out of. In other words, Azal, Adelek, you ran out of gas, of petrol, yeah? Azal Halechem, yeah, which means we ran out of bread. Actually, it's a pasuk in the Novi, which I didn't know about. I look now. Shaul HaMelech says to his servant, we got to go to Shmuel, to the Novi. We don't have any gift to give the Novi. He says, Azal Halechem. So apparently this appears in the Torah. Goes very well, obviously, with Aramaic, which we know better, which Azal means to go. It goes. It's finished. Gone. What? Ozlas Yad is, I was thinking about that's weakness, similar. But Ozal Halechem is mamish like we use it today. Yeah, Ozlas Yad, true, weakness, very good. Oh, very good. So Azazel means what? Where does this seir go? He's very strong, he's very powerful, mischievous and rebellious. And because of that, who does he rebel against? Hashem. So what does he do? We know the Hebrew word Zorem. What does Zorem mean? You say in Hebrew Zorem. Goes with the flow. He's not too worried about waking up in time on Shachrit. Zorem can be good sometimes. Zorem imachayim. Whatever comes, the Yitzhar offers him something without hechsher, good, contact with the wrong people. Zorem. He's like, he goes with whatever life brings him. He's not in control. He's like going with the flow, wherever the flow takes him. Azal. He's just walking and going and going. Where does he end up? He ends up in a place which is completely empty, a place where nature is the only thing that there is. Nature is wild, meaning it's not a jungle, it's a midbar, it's a desert. The desert is a place that's empty. Nobody ever cultivated it. Nobody ever cares about this place because the person who behaves like the seir, the bad one, that seir is a guy who just goes with nature. He does what's natural, what comes to him naturally. And he ends up in a place where just like you yourself never cultivated any kesher with Hashem, any kind of being able to resistance from Taivas, that's midbar. That's exactly midbar. It's untouched by humans, which is very nice to visit and look, we go to untouched nature. When it comes to nature, it's very nice. People who are untouched by the Yetzer Tov doesn't look so nice. And what happens at the end? He falls. Azal. He walks and walks. He walks all the way. It's also a long journey. You're walking with life. You're walking through nowhere. You think you're having fun, but internally you are just walking through a desert. And eventually, Azal, you just fall. Azazel. Now, really, says the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, that seir is full of what? Full of all the averos, especially after the vidui. After the vidui of the Kohen Gadol over the seir Azazel, he basically places all the averos of Klal Yisrael over his head. The other seir in the par only mechaper and tumas mikdash for Kodosho, for Koyanim and for Israelim. That poor seir Azazel, he actually carries upon his head all the averos of everybody. That's a lot, So he's really dead. Internally, he's dead. He represents the Rasha. We all know the Gemara in Brochus Yudches that tzaddikim b'moisam kurim chaim. It's tzaddik, even after his death, he's called alive. He lives in Gan Eden. Just like the seir, the nice one, the one LaHashem, is in Kodesh Kedoshim. He's dead, but wow, he's more alive than ever. The Rasha seems to be very alive. He goes partying all over. He's very much... There's an expression which does not exist in English, but it does exist in Yiddish and in Hebrew. Oseh chaim. What's la'asot chaim? To la'asot chaim is to have fun. Oseh chaim, he's having fun. Oseh chaim, bechul. He's creating fun. Macht leben. Living it up. I was going to say that. But soon you'll see why I chose the Hebrew expression. Who oseh chaim means he doesn't really live. He's creating fake one. That's what I'm saying. Now, that seir is really dead from the inside. We're getting to the point soon. That seir is internally dead. Is full of averos, is full of bad choices, and right now he thinks that he's very alive, but his fate is very, very near. What's Ya'omad Chai? By the way, the Or Chaim Kodesh explains very nicely, that's why the person carrying the seir Azazel is metame. Why does he receive tuma? He becomes tome. Why does he? And he's going to die that year too. Yeah, poor man. Why? Because really, that seir is full of death. That seir is really dead. It looks like it's alive, but it's like an avela. It's not really alive from the inside. So externally it's alive, internally it's dead. So maybe now we can understand Rashi. We're getting somewhere, aren't we? I have till when? What's my 10?
11.
11. Okay, we're gonna have enough time. More than fine. You're gonna have enough time to schmooze. Yeah, we didn't get to the main Musar schmooze, but you'll still have time. Basically, that seir is dead from the inside, and outside it's alive. Okay, so maybe that's what Rashi means. B'derech hadrush, I'm not explaining pshat. Yamad chai al yedei acherim. Internally, nothing there. It's all empty shell. But other people make it as if it's alive. Meaning, it looks like outwardly it's alive. Look, it's whatever. Okay, bleeping along, but lamaisa, it is still dead from the inside. I'm not happy with that. I'm still not happy. Because why does it say alidei acherim? I understand it's only external, according to what we explained with Rav Hirsch and Or Chaim. He's externally alive, internally there's nothing there. Like unfortunately a lot of people in the Western world, that's a matzav. But why alidei acherim? Rashi should have said b'chitzonius. I don't know what to say chitzonius in Lashon Rashi. Rashi should have said nirechai chai b'mareu b'chitzonius. Why does it say alidei acherim? Why alidei acherim? Who are the acherim? Who are the people, the other people that make him live? That's the question here. So again, I'm not saying pshat here. I just think there's a nice lanius daiti, a lesson that we can all carry with us for everyday lives. Back to the marathon. Okay, so you're also stuck in traffic. Okay, welcome to the club. Basically, my wife and I were in Yerushalayim the other day, end of last week, and there were signs everywhere that not extremely tzanua signs all over the city, including the old city, not far from the Kosel, that there's going to be a marathon in Yerushalayim. And we were sitting we had to take a cab. There was for a certain reason they usually don't take cabs, but this time we did. And the cab driver was complaining, this marathon is a big headache for them. Basically, an entire big part of the big city is shut down for a good few hours. Why does a city, I'm talking about Yerushalayim, whatever, the same obviously happens in New York, Berlin, Tel Aviv, all the choshev, hip places in the world. Basically, a big part of the city has to shut down. Yeah, people they can plan in advance if they know. A lot of people are gonna miss appointments, not visit the mothers, not do this and that. Why? Because people decided that in the middle of the day, people have to run in the middle of the city. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm choosing this example as something very parav. I don't think marathons are the worst thing in the world. I mean, if frum men want to join a marathon, I think they should consult a Rav, because I know some frum people who go about Shmir Senaim. I don't think the women are dressed there like Sarah Schneerer, surrounded by women who are a little bit less tzanur than Sarah Schneerer himself, and you're going to this place b'chavona and running. I mean, I don't know, this is not halacha shir, I'm not a poisek, and I'm not a posek either. Do ask your Rav before you go to run in a marathon, whatever, I hope you win your case and your race. But that's interesting. But the idea itself, the Western world has many, many ideas which are way, way, way worse than a marathon. I'm choosing this stam as an example to try and explain something. Let's try and look from an objective point of view. Let's say there's an intelligent being from outer space. He doesn't have any knowledge of Western culture or Torah. Stam, are you seriously telling me that people in the middle of a big city, are supposed to stop life so people can just run? Nothing against running. Physical exercise is very important. Some people feel that being competitive is good and important. Do that out of town. Take a big racing course, go to a stadium out of town, and run there for 3 days in a row and decide which man or woman win the marathon. In the middle of the city, you have to stop life completely. Why? A big professor who, Nobel Prize winner came. what? It's not even something that they're marviach and a gashmistic thing. It's not even a elamai. We have decided. Society decided that it's important to basically freeze an entire place for a whole day because that's Greek culture, marathon. There was a guy who ran from Marathon to Athens. There, Yom Adchai, Alidei Acherim. When people don't have internal values, there's no internal value there at all. Yeah? And the only reason why this make-believe thing exists is because people, society decided it's important, and that's the only importance that thing carries. And it gets worse and worse through the generations. I'll give another much more important example, and then we can all apply it to our own lives. I'm giving different examples and then see how we can apply to it. We're all, Baruch Hashem, believers in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Sheshis Mei Bereshis. There's a very, very good, nice, very intelligent person who lives here. I'm sure he doesn't mind to mention his name. Professor Daniel Nissim. He lives in 38. Yeah, I'm also a big fan. He gives beautiful lectures. He's a scientist. He studied in Sorbonne in France, one of the most highly acclaimed academic institutions in the world. He is a very, very high position in Bar Ilan University, and he gave a very interesting talk, a whole show with a slideshow presentation about evolution. So evolution has a very, very small grain of truth to it, but at best it's a very questionable theory. Let's put it this way. And the world has decided, every place in the Western world teaches evolution from the age of 6, that's it. So we decided evolution is it, so it's it. We didn't really test it, yeah? And if a scientist says it's against evolution, he's a koifer. He'll be put in cherem. They'll put Pachkevilim against him, They won't find shidduch for his daughter, That's already why we've decided we're creating this hype. We're creating a matzav of we believe, we create something, so therefore it exists. It's dead inside. There's nothing there, or almost nothing there. It's like you have this doll. The Gemara in the beginning of Baba Basra, Hordus. Hordus, what did he do? His wife, which was from Chashmonaim, wasn't really his wife. He decided she's his wife. She died. She jumped off the roof. Then what did he do? He said, okay, he kept her as if she's alive, so people should think she's alive. Yeah, he preserved her like a mummy in honey. The Gemara says, and really, yeah, that's the way it was. In other words, here's my wife. She likes to be very quiet and a bit reserved. Yeah. She doesn't open her mouth. She's not a big conversationalist, my wife, but here she is. Now the thing is dead, but we, the royal we, the social we, decided that it's alive. That it's the only power that it has. So I'm a little bit stuck here in the Haredi cocoon of Beit Shemesh, but a relative of mine, a female relative who's more connected to the outer world, to the world out there, she told me something which I guess some people here know about. It's unbelievable where the world is getting to. Apparently nowadays there's a phenomenon called, we all know about social media and YouTube. I also have my YouTube channel, I have to admit, for shiurim. And there are people who basically publish themselves on YouTube. Yeah, she told me the name of a lady. It's a very interesting name. Sounds like half American, half Arab. I don't know. She said this lady, she has millions of viewers and people follow her lifestyle. So I said, what is she? Scientist? No. Is she, okay, a movie star? No. What is she? Nothing. What does this woman do? Garnished. So why is she followed? Because people decide that it's interesting to follow her lifestyle. She shows, here's my dog, here's me eating in the restaurant, here's my swimming pool. But what does she do, I'm asking? I tried, the conversation was funny. Nothing. She has nothing for herself, no degree. She's not even something lowly like a star. Garnished, no talent. So why is she choshev and million people follow her? Because people follow her. Get it? That's Ya'amad Chai Alidei Acherim. The world of Sheker is the world that has no essence, no internal, intrinsic, essential value. But if enough people stand around that doll and make it look alive, so it's alive. Although internally it's dead. So yesterday night, now comes a little bit of a personal side over here. Last night, I said this idea at the supper table to my family in a much shorter version, I must say. And so then my wife came with a very nice idea, and I said I'm going to quote my wife. Esther. And I'll tell you what my wife reminded me, something very, very nice. We're talking about the seir, right? Who else is called seir? Esav. Oh. So I'll quote Rav Davidovich, that's out of the supper table. Rav Davidovich told me years ago, I don't remember quoting who, that the reason why we place all the Averos and the Seir This is not like I said that the seir is the Jewish people. I think it's also true, but there's another aspect. Seir are the goyim. As we all say in the vidui, who is me'akev, sor shebeisa, and the galus. In other words, why do we sin? We don't want to sin. No Jew wants to sin. It's seir, esav. We're so influenced by the goyim, so influenced by acherim, that we follow their ways one way or the other, and we end up sinning, and that's our message on Yom Kippur. But there's another point. Who is the one who met the malach of Esav? Yaakov Avinu. And what did Yaakov Avinu ask him? Trying to be polite. What's your name? What did the malach reply? Lama zetisha l'shmi. Why do you want to know my name? What do you care about my name? Said the Esav's malach, seir. So the Pasha Pshat of many Meforshim is malachim don't have names because they change according to the role that they're given. But this morning I saw Rabbi Chasman. Rabbi Chasman says this is Esav. Esav is saying Lama zetisha l'shmi. What does name mean? Name, the word neshama, the internal part of the word neshama is Shem, name. Your name is part of your internal being, is who you are. Yeah, a person's name is very important. That's why people, before they name babies, should consult a Rav. If it's a good name, people should be called by their Hebrew names, at least every once in a while, the full name. Yeah, if you change your friend's name in a mocking way, it's a very terrible avera. A Shem means your essence. Your Shem, your name is your essence. Says the Malach of Esav, you asking for essence? You asking for something real? Lama zetisha l'shmi? I have no name. I'm Esav. I'm from Hollywood. I'm from wherever. I'm from the social media. I don't have any essence. You're Yaakov, you're tzaddik. You're talking on terms. Says Rabbi Chasman, yeah, it's like a person who sees some kind of vision on the wall. He says it's like some kind of light and shadow game. Looks very nice. He does not just the shade of the tree or shadow. It looks at the wall, gets close to the actual wall. He sees just dirty old wall. We could say something about a movie. Yeah, it screens something. It's just nothing. It's a mirage. The wall is just the wall. It's not real. That is also the essence of seir. The seir is the one, the bad seir, yeah, is the one that has no essence. The other seir is the one who overcame that and changed it and has real essence, goes to Kodesh Kedoshim. But the one who stays with a seirkeit of no name, no essence, he goes eventually to Azazel. And that's why I think Rashi says, Alidei Acherim. Because when you don't have internal reality, you only look for the society, for your surroundings, to give you that chizuk, because internally there's nothing there. Baruch Hashem, we're zoche to live in the place of Torah mitzvahs. We are here, Beit Shemesh, Eretz Yisrael, Beis Medrash. Thank you very much again, Lev, Bread, and Yisrael Harris, who asked me to speak. May we be zoche, the more we advance in life, to get more internally real, to have real closeness to Hashem. And every time we meet a new idea in this crazy world of media, every time we meet a kind of new idea, we have to test it with the eyes of Torah. Is this real? Or is this Alidei Acherim? I want to give you a little bit of credit here. You don't mind, Shimon, yeah? Shimon quoted this Rosh Yeshiva a few times to me, and he said, there's a commercial saying, can millions of people be wrong? Your Rosh Yeshiva said, yes, right? Or maybe you told me that a few times. Who was the Rav who said it?
Rabbi Yishai Karlinsky.
Rav Yishai Karlinsky, sounds chashuv. Yeah, so, yeah, millions of people can be wrong and are wrong. Most of the oilim are shikoyer, Rabbi Elchanan says. Most of the oilim are bribed with the Yetzer Hara. And therefore, we should always be mischazik to get the internal kasher with Hashem, to be real, to be the real seir, and not just Alidei Acherim, and see Mashiach very, very soon. Thank you very much. Thank you.